morning, everyone. This is Diane Murray at Southern Art Gallery, and today we are going to look at the Colors of Inspiration from Daniel Smith. This is their 12 color metal box set that's new to Daniel Smith. I chose this particular box because of the unusual color combinations. I don't usually buy pre-made watercolor palettes. I usually make my own. But I thought this one was, I just wanted to try their metal palette and try some of these colors and finally put together a travel palette of Daniel Smith colors. So in this set, we have Cadmium Yellow Medium Hue, Quinacridone Rose, Wisteria, which is a very interesting color, Rose of Ultramarine, which I really like, I already have that, Moon Glow, it's another color that I like, it's a nice purpley neutral, Shadow Violet, which is new to me, Phthalo Blue green shade, which they could have left out as far as I'm concerned, Lavender, which I really like that color, Cascade Green, which I've had for years and I'm learning to appreciate, Serpentine Genuine, which is new, and I'm excited to try that. And Green Apatite Genuine, which is my favorite dark green. I use it all the time. And the last one is Quinacridone Gold. So the reason that I normally don't buy pan sets is because they tend to be extruded, which means that they're harder to re-wet. And I just don't like using them because I like using tube colors. But these Daniel Smith colors are hand poured. So it's virtually the same thing as you pouring it yourself, except it's done a little bit better than I would do it, I'm sure. So anyway, let's look at it. Here's the palette. It comes very nicely contained in this nice little metal box. My first impressions are that it's a standard metal box. It's nicer than the Sminky boxes because it doesn't angle downward, but the problem is it doesn't lie flat either. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's angled upward, so I don't know if that's going to be a problem. We'll find out. Anyway, so there you have it. It comes with this nice overlay, which when I do my own color swatches, I will attach it here, but in the meantime, it's a nice little reminder of what the colors are. It came flawless, no problems with any of the paints coming loose from the containers. It was shipped in I will show you that Dick Glick shipped it in a bag and it made it here just fine, which is amazing to me. So let's look at these and we are going to swatch these out. The other thing I wanted to tell you is I went ahead and purchased 2 more cute little half pans here. This is the Cerulean Blue Chromium, which I can't live without. It's my favorite Cerulean Blue. This is also a new color to me. This is Mont Amiata Natural Sienna, which I've been wanting to try for a long time, so I decided to add that to the palette. And when I add the other 12 colors, I will do another video and show you the entire palette and how I set it up. But for now, let's just look at what we have in this palette. I have done a chart for us. And this is always what I do when I get new colors. I always do a mixing chart. It's the best way to learn your colors and to learn how they're going to behave. Now when I re-wet my paints, I use a little hair. This is a little bottle that hair color comes in. And if you don't color your hair, you just have to find someone who does. Or find another bottle that works for you. But this works beautifully. I actually saved them for my students. So, our first color is, and I'm not used to working from pans, so you really have to bear with me here. Actually, I did want to show you one other thing. I do have a travel palette. This is a set that I made myself, and I got the tin from Jackson's. And these are the colors that I have in here. You can't add colors in the middle on this Daniel Smith palette. There's not room, but in the Jackson palette, which I think was $12, it was very inexpensive, you can actually add an entire row of half pans in here. So if you're thinking about making your own palette, I would suggest this palette from Jackson's. It's a bit heavier quality than the Daniel Smith, and it has lasted me beautifully. And this is my travel palette when I'm traveling heavy. I have some lighter ones, but this is my heavy travel palette. So anyway, that's that one. So you ask, why does she need another travel palette? Well, she doesn't. Okay, she does not. So normally what I do here is I try to make this color up here a little bit the same color, but a little lighter. So what happens when the two meet, they're going to get the same color. Okay, the next one is Quinacridone Rose. Beautiful, cool red. And then we'll put it, lighter version of it here. I'm going to go ahead and put the colors out first, and then we'll mix them. That way we don't get confused. This is Wisteria, which is, as I expected, a much more opaque color. But if you're a botanical painter like I am, you will find this color very useful. Very useful. The next one is Rose of Ultramarine, which is such an interesting pigment, or pigments. And then we have Moon Glow, which I had on my palette for years and never used, honestly, until recently. I taught a color theory class, and looking at the neutrals, I really learned to appreciate Moon Glow again. It's actually a very, let's get a little bit more of that. This beading of your new palettes will eventually stop. You can help that to get over it sooner with a magic eraser, and just or scrub it a little bit with something that's slightly abrasive. I wouldn't use a heavy abrasive on it, but that does stop it, as you can see. Well, you can't see from this one, but I'll just show you on here. On this palette that I've had for a while, it doesn't bead up at all. So eventually it will stop beading up. You just have to work with it a little bit and break it in. And this is Shadow Violet. A new color to me. I've held off on purchasing this color because I didn't think it was a very useful color. But again, I think it might be more useful than I think. And Phthalo Blue, which is a good mixing color. It is not one of my favorite colors. However, it is a useful color. Now this is one of my favorite colors. Daniel Smith makes a lovely lavender, and Holbein also makes a lovely lavender. It's a gorgeous color for botanicals. Let's get a little bit more in there. It's almost non-existent. And this is another Daniel Smith color that I've had on my palette for years and never used, and it's Cascade Green. And the secret seems to be, this color is supposed to separate into, the pigments are supposed to separate and make this beautiful granulation pattern, which has never worked for me, but I think I've always put it a little bit too heavy. So I'm really learning to appreciate Cascade Green. And next, and I will say that these colors are very easy to re-wet. Now this is a color I've wanted to try for quite a while. This is Serpentine Genuine, I believe. And it's just a beautiful gold green. Very nice color. And then my favorite green of all times, Green Apatite. I love this color so much. It's a great substitute for, that's not supposed to be there. It's a great substitute for, did I put, yeah, for sap green. Of course, I keep sap green on my palette as well because I like coarse sap green. And last but not least is their Quin Gold, which of course everyone knows is a new formulation, a bit different than their old Quin Gold, but so I was kind of curious to try that. Let's add a little bit more water in there. Okay, so there are our colors.